Stay with me as we learn how to grow oyster mushrooms at home. If you haven't figured it out yet, I love mushrooms. They're one of my very favorite foods, and I like trying all different kinds. Now, I am going to talk about growing oyster mushrooms in this video. And if you're new at growing mushrooms, this is kind of the first mushroom you should try. There's a very low failure rate. Oyster mushrooms can grow on just about anything, and they're very easy to get to grow, and they produce a really good crop. And they taste good. They're good texture, good consistency. It's a great starting place, and it was how I got started with mushrooms, was growing oyster. Now, if you haven't paid attention, I've put out a couple different mushroom videos, and I'll link those. You'll see like this little icon appearing up in the right corner. If you hit that, that'll take you to, I did a video on lion's mane. I did one on shiitake, and I have one on wine cap coming up. So those will be in, you just click that little link. Anyway, I got an interview at the Porcupine Freedom Festival with John MacLeod over at Catskill Fungi, and he's going to explain oyster mushrooms, and then I'm going to show you the results I had from the kit. And I'm even going to compare the shiitake, my yield of shiitake, to my yield of the oyster, so you can get a little comparison of how much you could expect to get out of a kit.
Hey, John MacLeod of Catskill Fungi. Today I'm going to be talking about oyster mushrooms and how to grow them. So what we have here is a kit for growing oyster mushrooms. You can order these at catskillfungi.com. What you can do with this is it's a ready-to-fruit block where you can poke holes in it and you'll get oyster mushrooms fruiting out of it. So you just mist it and keep it out of direct sunlight, and you can. This is something you can keep in your kitchen, do a homeschool project with kids, and watch the oyster mushrooms fruit out. And once they get to a certain size, you can cut them, chop them up, and eat them. They're great protein, and they're really good for you. So that's this is an easy way to get this kit and actually grow your own mushrooms. Now, there's also a variety of different ways of doing this as well. And another way to do this would be to take this sawdust block, and what this is this has the root structure of fungi within it, and it's growing on sawdust. And right now, if you were to break this sawdust up and this mushroom roots, you could actually utilize this to grow mushrooms out of coffee grounds. So after you finish making coffee every day, you can take those coffee grounds and layer it, and then put a little bit of the sawdust mycelium on it, and then layer it again with coffee grounds, and a little bit more sawdust and coffee grounds, and within a few weeks, you're gonna see these oyster mushrooms popping out of the top. And this is another way you can eat it. So that's one way to take that bag and really expand it. Now, oyster mushrooms will grow out of cardboard, they'll grow out of coffee grounds, they'll even grow out of your jeans. So this is where I took my old clothes and I put that sawdust on it and I rolled them up, and sure enough, they fruit out of your jeans. So, once you get too many of them, you can dry them and have dried oyster mushrooms. And really, they're quite delicious and very easy to grow. So
unfortunately, I went out of town and I missed a lot of these guys. I put them outside and they blew up like crazy. You can see, what I mean is I might be a little too late. Definitely gonna have to wash the heck out of them if I eat these. But they blew up and they grew great. I just didn't harvest them in time. So these are the oyster, and they look pretty good. Maybe I can salvage these. Just have to clean them up. They grew in them pretty fast, in a few weeks as soon as you open it. So these are the oyster mushrooms, and what is interesting about this is, again, I was really late to the harvest, so I missed a bunch of them and I lost about half my crop. But just the size of like one good mushroom, I'm holding about a pound. And then there's miscellaneous ones in there too that I'm washing up and cleaning up. I think some bugs got into putting them outside, so I'm going to be really careful and wash these really good. But you know, that's what you get when you grow outside, so it happens. Anyway, pretty good yield. I would have thought maybe close to 2 pounds if I had caught it at the premium time. Very spongy. Fresh mushrooms are just incredible compared to store-bought. There's a bunch of water in these. They feel like a piece of tofu or shrimp, kind of. And that'll be the consistency. To play it safe, I'll probably just put these in soup or stir-fry them, or something where they cook really good. So I harvested my shiitake and oysters at the same time. And I keep mentioning in this video how late I was and that it's not a true yield, but it's a pretty good amount. So I'm going to show you those results comparing the two. So you get an idea, both these came out at the same time. You get a pretty good amount of fresh shiitake. I mean, that's probably a pound right there altogether with some strays I found. And then you compare it to the oyster mushrooms. They're gigantic. I mean, this is my hand. And you probably get a pound and a half. Had I harvest this in time, it'd probably be almost a third or maybe even as much as double. You can get a good idea how they compare against each other. More bang for the buck is the oyster mushrooms, but shiitake got a pretty darn good flavor, so it's a toss-up. Like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I've got lots more on mushrooms. I even have a medicinal mushroom class that John put on. It's about an hour long. You can learn all about how to use certain mushrooms for medicinal value. It's a really neat class. I'll link that too, so you'll see a little icon appearing. Don't forget, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to my channel. Also, give this a thumbs up, a like, a share, or if you have something to add, remember to comment below. Thanks. Also, don't forget to stop by terranlupo.com. I have up videos that you can't see anywhere else. Currently, I have one on carnivorous plants and also how to make your own mead. All you have to do is go over and sign up at terranlupo.com, and all that's free.